1999, February 7th, in a quiet, small Metro Denver town of Westminster, Colorado. Paul Skiba and his 9-year-old daughter, Sarah, along with Paul's employee, Lorenzo Chivers, were doing a moving job when they mysteriously disappeared. On the day that the three disappeared, Sarah went with her dad, Paul, who owned the Tough Movers Company, on a task alongside his employee, Paul Chivers. Now, this case is unsolved, and it has been over 20 years, and they still don't know what happened to these three people, or who did it, or what's going on with this case. So Sarah was with her dad. Her mother had custody. They had joint custody, but she visited her father every other weekend. So they found a moving truck. Another employee found the moving truck situated really oddly, and there was blood evidence and a portion of a human scalp close to the windshield, along with a metal expansion from the truck that was missing. And so the timeline goes like this. 9-year-old Sarah spent the weekend of February 5th, 1999 with her dad, Paul Skiba, at the home in Thornton, Colorado, which is relatively close to Westminster, Colorado. It's like right next to it. Paul and Sarah's mom who was Michelle Russell, were divorced, and Paul was the owner of the Tough Movers, a nearby trucking organization or moving organization in the Westminster area. And they both shared custody of Sarah. So Sarah spent every other weekend with her dad. Paul's on and off girlfriend, Teresa Donovan, lived with him on his property and had just given birth to a baby boy. Now, Paul had recently told his friends a week prior that he wasn't even sure if this baby was his, and he would often come to work to find his girlfriend Donovan still in bed or at a party with neighbors, and he would find his 9-year-old daughter Sarah watching the baby. He had also told his friends how he had planned to kick out his girlfriend Teresa get custody of the baby if he indeed found out that it was his. So, on Sunday, February 7th, 1999, Paul's mother, Sharon, received an odd phone call from Paul's girlfriend Donovan, Teresa Donovan, that he had not arrived home that day from a job that he had scheduled with his employee and co-worker Lorenzo Chivers, one that Sarah had accompanied both on a job in Westminster that evening, both on the Tough Movers store. So they had left the Tough Movers store around 5:30 p.m. The last were seen at approximately 6 p.m. in Morrison. When Paul failed to return home, Teresa phoned the police department, but stated they did not take her seriously. After which Sharon placed a call regarding Paul's absence. Sometime later, Michelle, Sarah's mother, had phoned the police, again notifying them that Sarah had not returned from the weekend stay with Paul. So the next day, Monday, February 8th, Jerry Bybee, another one of Paul's employees, arrived at the Tough Movers store, and he had noticed that the company's large moving truck had been unusually parked front first and crooked, which was really odd because Paul was a neat freak and anal about everything. So he was thinking, okay, I can't wait to hear why this truck is parked like that, because Paul would have a story. Bybee also noted that the lock on the front gate had been changed, leaving him unable to enter the parking lot. After Paul and Chivers failed to arrive at the Tough store, Bybee subsequently phoned police. So 3 days later, on February 11th, law enforcement entered the Tough Movers lot with Bybee assisting them. There, Bybee noticed a puddle of what he thought to be motor oil, partially covered with a piece of plywood, in the van lot. Bybee would later state that he felt that the investigating officer destroyed more evidence than he was really willing to look at. On February 13th, a friend of Paul's, Rich Lesmeister, received a phone call from Paul's girlfriend, Teresa, notifying him that Paul, Sarah, and Lorenzo were missing. So he stated this was the first he had been made aware of their disappearance. That afternoon, Lesmeister and his wife Carol met with Sharon at the lot to further investigate the premise themselves. Lesmeister, an auto mechanic, had recently worked on a 1978 Chevrolet moving truck at the lot. He and Carol climbed over the fence, and upon investigating, found multiple bullet holes in the side of the truck, and he had previously been working on. The exterior of the truck also had a blood stain smeared across it, and a chunk of what appeared to be a human scalp was lying near the windshield, which is just absolutely crazy that police came and investigated it, and they didn't even notice things like that. I mean, a human scalp is pretty serious. And law enforcement initially treated the case as a kidnapping, just assuming that Paul had taken Sarah and run away with her. So upon further investigating, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation found evidence of blood covering the back of the truck and cab using luminol DNA analysis. It had proved the blood was a mixture of that of Paul and Sarah's. And it was large enough quantity that both were presumed dead by authorities. On February 17th, 1999, a vehicle belonging to Chivers was discovered parked in an apartment complex in Westminster, several blocks from the Tough Movers lot. And then 10 days later, a vehicle belonging to Paul was discovered in a parking lot at 3129 Arkansas Avenue in Denver. In March 1999, the following month, 5 weeks after the three had disappeared, Thornton Police and the CBI formally stated that they had evidence suggesting foul play. So a witness came through and claimed to have heard a woman screaming at the Tufts Movers lot the night of the disappearance, February 7th. Other witnesses had later told police that the truck in question had been seen leaving the lot between 7 and 8 times that night, before returning at approximately midnight. This led police to determine that the body of Chivers, Paul, and Sarah could not be more than a couple of hours away. An extension ramp was missing from one of the trucks as well. This led authorities to suspect the killers may have used it to sink the three's remains in the lake, as vegetation discovered in the truck radiator indicated that it had been driven near a body of water. So at this point, they had search canines used to attempt to trace the bodies. And Neck Research, a company specializing in the recovery of human remains, assisted in searches of lakes in the region. But no evidence was produced in the searches. It was believed the authorities were preparing to make an arrest in connection with the cases. In August, several months later of 1999, but the report proved to be false. No one has been charged with any involvement in any of the disappearance, and it is still a cold case to this very day. Alright guys, so this is my first cold case murder mystery video. I hope you like it. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more like this, and let me know what you'd like to see next in the description box below. Don't forget to enter my zoo contest. I'm giving away hundreds of dollars. I hope you guys have a great